So with our handsome Mr. Z, I'm going to fix that cute little ear. I wanted to warm up a little bit with some loose leash walking. We'll start off a little bit without the leash on, but then we'll go into working with the gear too. I know there's a couple crumbs over there. So with your beauties, when you're first warming up, I would recommend to sometimes even practice this a little bit in the home versus out in the real world. If you're finding your puppy is sometimes having a hard time reorienting to you or going at your rate, I find it can be very helpful to, again, practice the moment where you're just meandering. And anytime the puppy comes back and orbits back to you and hangs out near your side, you can feed them for that response. Nice job, sir. So again, with Mr. Handsome, ready, Zeus? If let's say he's a little bit unsure, I just kind of move around and then we're going to feed again for that lovely little check-in. So even in the beginning, it's more orbiting and heading back in your direction versus, for example, instantly in a heel position. Remember, we're starting to build up to those bigger boy skills as he's progressing. Ready, Zeus? So let's say he's starting to get a little bit more involved. You can start to, again, use your hand as almost a target in the beginning to help him hone in. There are a few extra noises today in the building, so some of the beauties are getting a little distracted. Yes, nice job. Make sure your rate of reinforcement is high enough to keep your babe's interest. So what I mean by that is a lot of times, he's like, hold on, there's a good smell, is a lot of times as you're practicing, if there's a lot of gaps between your reinforcements, then what can happen is your puppy can get much more easily distracted and lost in the environment or with something else off in the distance. So keeping a higher rate of reinforcement means that I'm also keeping his interest high because there is a nice, again, rate of deposit into this behavior. So again, with Mr. Z, if we're starting off a little bit off the gear, perfectly fine. And you could, again, start working from this. And let's say he gets a little bit ahead, you can go into a little front position and bring him into your body. So the benefit of going into a front is sometimes maybe there's a distraction up ahead, or maybe you need to regain focus. If your puppy gets easily distracted, getting them comfortable reorbiting back to your little bubble to be very helpful. So we're going to, again, do some loose leash walk-in, having him sort of by the leg, yes, and feed throughout that. And then let's say from there, bring them into a little front. Yes. And in the beginning, the fronts, I don't really care if they're not going into a sit yet. The main goal is I just want them to think that it's fun to move into my space. And the benefit to that is then you can get your puppy to come back into your bubble, refocus, and work a few other skills. So again, Mr. Z is doing a real nice job. He's like, greatest day of my life. If let's say he gets a little bit jumpy, a little excited, just ignore the jumping. Or if he's doing a lot of jumping, it normally means that he's getting overwhelmed or tired. He is probably due to go in for a little rest again, since he's been out working quite a bit now. He's like, hold on, lady, I swear I lost one. Ready? Find it. So, but maybe we'll warm up and we'll do a little bit with some recalls again. So I want to send him away to go get distracted far off. He's like, didn't even see that one rolling. He's like, gosh darn it, I lost it. Ready? I'm going to help him out with a second one. Ready? Find it. There we go. Now I can visually see them better. So let's say he's off doing something. I'm going to see if I can get him to do a little recall. Zeus, come. Yes, nice job. So remember, sometimes you will want a jackpot behavior. So what I mean by that, as opposed to giving one snack for the skill, is you want to go ahead and do kind of a little rapid fire, one after the other, and give several goodies. If, for example, you're trying to make it seem really cool to do something from his perspective, jackpots are quite lovely. Ready? Find it. Because it can really build up value around the behavior skill set. Ready? Zeus, come. Yes, nice job. You can also do some fun recall games between family members. So I know I may have mentioned some of these in the past, but you can have several friends or family members doing some recalls, but make sure one at a time is calling. Zeus says he lost that snack, he kicked it. Ready? Zeus, come. Yes. Good boy. So remember to, if you're going to have multiple family members trying something, make sure they're also very good with taking turns. So we don't want everybody sort of calling him at the same time. Zeus, come. Yes, nice job. So again, I mark that behavior as he's approaching with that lovely yes. If let's say he's on his way and you mark the yes as he's approaching, you can also go ahead and tell him what a good boy and praise him up, especially if he enjoys some lovely recognition for his good efforts. Nice job. Zeus, come. Yes. Nice job, sir. So smart. Good boy. So again, we're going to throw another little snack, do another little recall. So in 2, you don't always have to do find its with a recall, but you can see it helps him start to practice the how-to of going away and coming back. So you could even be doing this where he's meandering in the yard and then have him practice bouncing in and out of the environment to you. You just want to make sure that, again, the recall is not the end of fun. So again, if like, let's say every time you called him away from an odor, you ended sniffing time, or every time you called him, it meant we're going inside or putting our leash back on to leave the environment, then he might start to think, gee, recalls are not so neat. So make sure recalls do not become the end of fun or paired with something spooky. Nice job. If sometimes you're also mid-blabbing, like I might be mid-talking sometimes and explaining things, I don't ever get the chance to sometimes always use my keyword. So if, let's say, Mr. Z happens to come all the way back to me and I was not ready with my recall, I'm still going to feed him for that lovely response. Nice job, Mr. Handsome. So we'll do another little find it. He's like, oh my gosh, I lost it. There he goes. He found it. And then, ready? Zeus, come. Nice job, sir. Very pretty. What a good boy. You may also find, too, with these lovely recalls, is I do like to also sometimes practice I gotcha or gotcha behavior. So what that means, and some folks might be doing a harness or a collar. So what I like to do is I might go, again, and I say, gotcha, and then I feed for that. And again, gotcha, and then I feed for that. So me reaching and grabbing for equipment is not spooky or overwhelming, because I do sometimes like to pair moments where my puppy comes back into my space with I might have to grab them for safety reasons. So if, let's say, your puppy gets in the habit of offering the hand and you can grab for equipment and then feed, you can then get them comfortable if you had to quickly grab them for a safety situation and then either releash them or grab them by their collar or grab them by their harness, and it's not instantly overwhelming or threatening or scary. Because for some puppies, being grabbed can be overwhelming. Ready? Come. Good boy. And then I could go into a little gotcha. So I've got his gear. He's like, lady, I think we're going to wrestle instead. Nice. And right here, feed him for that. If he is getting mouthy, which again, I know he's a baby, that could also be a symptom of I'm overtired and I need my rest. So definitely give him little venues to either redirect the biting and mouthing onto an appropriate item or give him lots of mandatory break periods throughout the day. Yes, nice job, sir. So again, but we'll give Mr. Z a little break. This was really lovely. What a smart man. And then we'll have him take a little siesta and then we'll rotate to our friends again. Good job, sir.